Good day, this is Terry Difazio, and you're watching Soundcheck. Today I'm here with my partner in crime again, the incredible Todd Pronto, talking about his incredible recordings, of course, naturally, and of course several other things that we will mention as we go along. But what were you going to start with something today, weren't you, Todd?
Well, I'm dressed very brightly today.
I see that.
And for two reasons.
I need my sunglasses.
Yes. Yeah, it's well, this is if you want to go hunting and you still want to be dressed semi-casual for the office, this is a good color to wear. And it's also now the official color of the country, orange.
Right.
Yes.
We're not going to say why, but you can leave it up to your imagination.
No, I just happened to find this shirt when I needed to do laundry, and this is all I had that was clean, and I kind of like it, but I don't remember buying it. and there might be a reason for that. I don't know who buys orange this bright.
By the way, I'd like to put a shout out to our chief engineer today, Tracy. She's the reason this show goes on because she just bully rags us until we do it.
Yeah, we forget about it.
And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't do the darn show. So, thank you, Tracy, and keep after us. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And if I'd have known we were going to do the show today, I'd have worn my three-piece suit. Instead, I've got my Seattle Seahawks shirt on.
Well, the Seahawks are doing good this year.
Not bad.
It didn't look like it at first.
Oh, no.
But
no.
Something... Well, wasn't Russell Wilson partially injured for the beginning of the year?
Yep.
And now he's back.
Yeah, but they've had other injuries, like a lot of teams, a lot of injuries. And if you don't have the right drugs, you're not going to win.
Yeah,
you need the right steroids or you're not going to win. I mean, how can a team score 5 points one week and then 40 points the next week? It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, we were supposed to be talking about music here.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, we get sidetracked, as always.
Hey.
You've got some new music out, don't you?
I do have some new music. I released an unexpected album.
Why was it unexpected?
Because I didn't expect to release. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Well, I'm recording. In 2015, I put out a full-length album, and I wanted to put out a full-length album for 2016, but it's not going to happen until 2017. Mm-hmm. Because I'm doing it. I've never done this before. I wonder if you've ever done this, because you used to record a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Did they spend a lot of time in pre-production, like before they even got to the studio? They had everything like super mapped out.
I'm trying to think here. I don't believe most of what I recorded were demo tapes.
Okay.
Most of what I did. A couple of people did projects. There were 2 or 3 guys. They would do a song or two and they'd have it all mapped out, and then they'd do a song or two and then we'd leave it on the shelf, and then they'd come back and they'd do it that way. Yeah. When I recorded my album, it was the same way. I'd record a couple of songs and then leave it for a couple of weeks and then come back to it.
Yeah, that's what I've always done too.
So, and that's the nice thing about having your own studio is you can get away with that. But if you're going to travel down to Nashville, you're going to have your stuff, there.
That's right.
Unless you plan on making a lot of trips, which I think Todd likes to do anyway.
I do, but I'm actually going to record this album in the big city of Newport, Vermont.
Wow.
A friend of mine is originally from Maryland. No, he's originally from Florida and then lived in Maryland for a while. And now he's up here. And he has built a recording studio. It's not quite done yet. So I'd like to say that's the reason we haven't started the album yet, but that's not the reason. The reason is I've written about 12 songs, and every week he comes over and we dissect those songs and we rewrite parts of them and rewrite lyrics and do chord changes. So when we actually go to record this album, it's all going to be like super mapped out, which I've never, ever done in my life. The way I've always worked in the past was I had the song written and I just saw what happened in the studio.
Yeah. So what is he going to be using for a DAW?
Pro Tools.
Which one?
I believe 12.
Oh, the cheap one.
The cheap one, yeah. the brand new cheap one. Yeah. I'm not sure what he what he masters and sparkles in. I don't think that's Pro Tools.
Are you going to have him master it, or are you going to try Lane Gibson's place?
Probably a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to have Lane mix it and then have him master it. Because I like to... I'm the type of person that likes to have somebody that's completely fresh to the project mix it, because they hear something different. Where myself has heard it from every angle, and Aaron will too, because he's also engineering it. So he's going to... You know, like somebody with fresh ears is gonna say that hi-hat shouldn't be that loud. Where we might be like, that hi-hat sounds great, and when
yeah, I know.
So I think Lane's probably gonna mix it, and then I'll have Aaron master, or maybe I'll have Lane master it. I'm not really, haven't gotten that far yet. Right now we're just rewriting so many of the songs, but I wrote a song about a year ago about my mother.
Yes,
and I played it, and it's connected with people so much because my mother passed away from cancer after like a 10-year battle, and unfortunately this song relates to people because so many people have been through the same thing. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who hasn't been affected by cancer in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, either that or a relative. Yeah,
right. And that's sad to say, but this day and age, I don't think you'll meet anybody that's never heard of cancer.
Or hasn't had their lives touched by it, either for themselves or through a friend or relative,
Yeah, so this song, I wrote about her and just started playing it, and people wanted it. So they would come up after my shows and want to buy that song, and I didn't have it. And then coincidentally, they wouldn't buy my other album either.
Which is not a good idea.
I'd say, well, you know, I don't have that song yet, but I do have this album. And then they'd be like, oh, well, I'll wait. I'm like, wait, you know, like I'm in Massachusetts right now. Like, I don't come through Massachusetts that often. Oh, next time I see you. Next time you're randomly in Salisbury, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes.
But so I decided, okay, I've got to release this. And this day and age, you know, releasing a single is not a big deal. You kind of release a single and you put it online and people can download it. But then I was like, well, I got to press it to a CD. If I'm doing a show and people want to buy it, I can't sell them a download. So then I said, well, I can't just put one song on a CD, because whether you put 20 songs on a CD or one, it costs the same amount to reproduce it.
Yeah.
So I said it makes economically much more sense to put 2 songs on a CD.
Yes. It would be like, it'd be the equivalent of putting out a 45.
It's exactly what I did.
If you were old like me, you'd buy a 45.
A 45. Have an A-side and a B-side.
And it was even funnier. In the 1980s, they actually made cassettes that way.
Mm-hmm.
You have
I remember that.
One song on each side.
And it came with that little cardboard sleeve, and you just slid the...
Pretty much, yeah.
That's essentially what I did, and I don't have the physical CD with me today because, obviously, I dressed myself this morning. You'd think I'd remember the CD. And but the CD is basically a flip-up, so the front cover is the cover for the single for the song I wrote about my mother, and the back is the other song that I put on it, which is a cover song. I've never covered a song before.
Oh.
I mean, I've done it on stage, but I've never recorded a cover song. And I did Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World."
Okay. And you have to pay a royalty for that, don't you?
Yeah, 3. Because 3 people own the copyrights to that song. I can't recognize it, but if you look at the actual CD, it says "Hideaway from the Sun" is the song I wrote about my mom. So, "Hideaway from the Sun," copyright Todd Pronto, 2016, publishing Pronto Music, 2016. Right. And then it says "What a Wonderful World," copyright blah 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 blah, publishing blah 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 blah, ASCAP, BMI blah 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 blah. So I had to pay
CIA. KGB,
yeah,
FBI.
So I had to pay a royalty per unit sold, and then to do the video for it, because nowadays you have to do a video with everything. That's kind of just the way the world works.
Even though MTV and VH1 don't play videos,
right?
You have to have a video anyways.
Yeah,
YouTube it, yeah.
So then I had to get a not a sync license, because I had to get a, oh boy, not a mechanical license is for the thing. No, it was a synchronization license. Anyway, I had to get a separate license to make a video with it because I didn't write the song. So I had to get and it gets even funnier than this. So I had to get a sync license to do the video. I had to get a mechanical license to do the song. And then I have those files on my computer at home, but in any other YouTube account, you log into your YouTube account and you go and you can actually download the MP4 of the video that you uploaded. Well, because it contains copyrighted information, I was not allowed to download my own video.
Well, there you have it.
I did. I happened to have it in my Google Drive that I forgot all about, so I was able to get it. But I went in to download my own video from my own YouTube page, and because it says contains copyrighted material, it wouldn't let me download it.
Well, there you have it. You know what that means?
So, Louis Armstrong, I hope you're happy.
Even though you're probably not alive.
He's not alive, and he didn't even write the song.
I was going to say, because when he did that song, he was, what, in his 60s or 70s?
That song came out in like 60. I would have thought it was earlier, but it came out in like 64 or something.
In the 60s. It came out in the 60s. I remember quite well.
And he didn't write it. There's like a guy named Thistle, Robert Thistle. Like 3 people wrote it, and 3 people own the copyrights and publications for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, long story short, it's the most expensive 2-song CD I've ever put out in my life.
So buy now while you can, before everybody goes crazy trying to figure out the copyrights.
But I'm only allowed to sell 1,000. And,
okay.
And then when I get to 1,000, I have to pay for more. What they do now, how it used to work in the day, if you were going to press records,
yeah,
you would say, I'm going to press 300 records. So you'd pay for that song. For each song that you didn't write, you'd pay the royalties for that song. Now, because of digital downloads, you have to pay a certain amount for the physical copies, and then you just guess how many downloads you're going to sell. So I went ahead and overshot. I've never sold 1,000 songs of anything, but I just put it down for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've got plenty to spare. I haven't sold 1,000 yet. I've sold like 10. No, I don't really
people, all of you kids out there, for all you people in Ontario who say oot instead of out.
Oops.
When I was growing up, you would go to a record store. You may or may not find what you were looking for, and if you special ordered it, it may take up to a month to get it.
Yeah.
Whether it was a 45 or an album, it would take a long time to get anything. Now, you can just go to Amazon and you buy a CD, or you go to Amazon and you just download it.
Yeah, the only hang up you might have is if your credit card information's wrong.
Yeah, and if you buy an Amazon gift card, that's what I do. I buy myself a gift card and I just...
Then you don't have to put your own... Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
I downloaded Sleeping Romance, an Italian operatic metal band today. So I got the whole thing.
You got it, yeah.
It was probably less than a minute, and I had 10 songs. So
it's so crazy. I remember waiting for the day to come out. Like, the record comes out, October 3rd. And you wait, and October 3rd, and when you're from here, you'd have to drive to Burlington and hope they had it.
Or to Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, or to Boston. And now, if the record comes out October 3rd, just stay up late on October 2nd, because at midnight, you'll be able to download it.
Yeah.
It's that instant. I actually have watched, I released my mother's song on October 14th, and then I did What a Wonderful World the day after Thanksgiving. That's just how I decided to put them out. And because I knew that after that, we're into the Christmas season, and I didn't have a Christmas album to promote. So, And I literally watched them both go live at midnight on Apple Music and Amazon and Spotify. And so the first stream, I streamed my own song on Spotify, so I'm going to get like a 1/9 of a cent for that. It's a different world. I wonder, growing up, what it would have been like. Can you imagine if you just could listen to anything at any time ever at your fingertips? Do you think you would have discovered as much music that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard to get music. Back in, I was born in 51.
Yep.
And I didn't really get into music until about 1958, 59. and essentially you were stuck with whatever local radio station you could hear.
Right.
And then you had all of your what they called bar and club bands, and they would be the ones that would go to Boston or to other areas, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, and they would hear different bands, and they would start playing. For example, well, you met Lane Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Foghat was until they played a couple of their songs. It was like, hey, who's this? Oh, this is a band called Foghat. It's like, wow, this is incredible stuff.
That's interesting.
Anvil was another one. All of a sudden I say, who is this? And they say, oh, we were playing the Allman Brothers. Nobody had ever heard of the Allman Brothers until Anvil played it at the community house in Springfield.
Because your local radio station didn't play
Oh,
the
heavens no.
Allman Brothers.
They played this homogenized crap that would put you to sleep
Yeah.
or aggravate the heck out of you until you wanted to commit suicide. Either way.
That's so crazy.
So, because now people are asking me the question that people would have asked back then if we'd had all this information is, where do you find all these bands? How do you come up with all these bands? Well, they're right out there. All you have to do is know how to run a computer.
Yeah.
You go to Spotify, you go to Last.fm, Pandora, go to YouTube. Type in something and other bands will pop up. That's how I discovered Nightwish and all these other bands.
On the sidebar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's...
I wasn't looking for them, but I discovered them.
You were probably listening to a band similar.
Actually, it actually was close. The band I was originally looking for was Saxon.
Yeah.
And all these, and then actually Wacken came up, the open air festival, and I saw this big list of bands, so I just started clicking bands, and there it was. So I think it's great. People out there don't realize that there's so much information in music that you can get turned on to any kind of music and almost any band. If it's out there, you can find them. You want to dig a little bit, you can find it.
And people do. It's always amazing. Like one of the biggest thing that stuck out to me with Hideaway from the Sun is this lady from Texas and another one from somewhere in Canada. Ottawa? I don't really remember. The lady from Texas heard it and sent it to her friend in Ottawa because they'd both been affected by cancer. And the lady from Ottawa wrote to me and said, you know, my husband passed away from cancer, my son did, and now I have it. And this song really touched me. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, wow, like, because that wouldn't have happened without the internet.
Heavens no.
No.
And your local radio station isn't going to play it either.
I'm pretty sure they're not, no.
No, of course not. You wouldn't want to actually support, a local artist. Now, would you?
That would be weird.
That would just be unheard of.
Yeah, but it's crazy. And, like, I have no idea how the lady I know how the lady in Ottawa got it because her friend from Texas sent it to her, but I don't know how the lady from Texas found out about it. So probably somewhere somebody was listening to a song similar and my name came up in the little sidebar. Though, when you put videos in, you can put in like keywords. Mm-hmm. So you put in like acoustic guitar, cancer awareness. And I always, on every single video, I write Justin Bieber. Every single one. So if people are searching for Justin Bieber, I might be up in the sidebar there. And I kind of do it as a joke, but I'll always think of like something that's like really popular, like politically or pop culture wise, and I'll write that in there.
Yeah.
So great. And I always write like cute kitten videos. So I'm really a marketing expert. If you were searching for cute kitten videos and you got this song, you're welcome.
Yes. You know what? I was just thinking I should write my friends at Venom.
Mm.
And have
they
them,
should try that.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. And up comes Venom. Long-haired punks. Excellent video, by the way.
It is. It is.
So, are we going to play one of your videos?
Yeah, if you want to play do you want to do the one about my mother first?
Yes.
Or?
Well, let's do that one first.
This is the real one. What a Wonderful World is the B-side.
Yeah.
That's cool that you picked up on that because that's essentially what I did. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a record. It comes in a plastic sleeve and you open the thing and you pull it out just like a record. It's not even in a CD packaging. Mm-hmm. Hideaway from the Sun. I don't really need to explain it. Actually, I'll explain the video because that's more interesting than the song. The song's about my mother. That's quite obvious. the video has pictures of my mother in it. I went to her house and stole photos when my stepfather wasn't home. I actually tried to take them when he wasn't home because I didn't want him to know what I was doing. But he came home like on his lunch break or something, and he said, "Hey, who's in my house?" And I said, "You know, buddy." But anyway, I tried to get a picture from different stages of my mother's life, and with each of us, she had 3 boys and 3 stepsons. Yes. And so I tried to get them in there, and we shot it on Lake Seymour, which is a camp that my uncle owns. My mother and my stepfather got married next door at this camp on Lake Seymour, and my uncle ended up buying the camp next to it. And so the significance of shooting this video where it was shot was that it was all my mother's favorite place on earth. And whenever she had at least 3 huge surgeries, and after the recovery from each of those 3, she recovered completely at that camp. So I wanted to shoot it there. I also wanted to get the sun just right because I wanted that sun flare, if somebody was standing and the sun's behind them. So we had to get there at the right time and fight the sun. Paul Barnard, I think you might have met him. He's come in here before. He's got a drone. He shot. He shot the exterior, the beginning scene that you see. It flies over the lake and kind of up. He shot all that, and then we just kind of edited it together. Real simple. It's basically just real simple shots and photos, like the Ken Burns effect. Just the photo going like this. But that's the significance of why the video was on the lake. And I will say that I make a cameo in this video as probably an 8-year-old in Disneyland wearing some pretty cool knee socks. Some really cool knee socks.
Yes. Nobody wears those anymore.
And no, I was looking at something. By the way, and you grew up, you're the same age as my parents.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the pictures of the clothing from like when I was real young. Man, did you ever wear those shorts that were like this?
Believe it or not, when I was in junior high and high school, our gym shorts were very short.
Wow.
Gym shorts were very short back in the 60s and whatnot.
I look at that and I'm just like, huh.
Yeah. You see, what's happened with fashion is, and I've noticed this, men's clothing has got bigger and baggier, and women's clothing has got shorter and tighter.
That is kind of true. How did that happen?
And there are many women who look very good in that, and some women that don't.
Yeah. And vice versa.
And if you want to see men in tight clothes that don't look good, go up to Canada. the French part, not the English part, but the French part.
They've always been like that.
Yeah, kind of strange. So we're going to roll the first video.
Yeah, let's check it out. It's called Hideaway from the Sun.
Eskimo kisses and a faded smile is my last memory to hold on to for a while. And you said so much without saying a word, and you were gone for good. Strength is desire, and you had it in spades, and you faced every detour and didn't complain. And persistence, gratitude, and God's loving name, forever within and forever the same. And I'll hide away, I'll hide away, I'll hide away from the sun. I'll hide away, I'll hide away, I'll hide away from the sun today. Will only deny when I got the call that it was the beginning of the end. Though I tried to stand tall, it was all I could do to not break down when I saw you swimming in that hospital gown. But you said don't worry, they'll find a cure, but I could see it in your eyes this time. You were not so sure. Just hold your hand and never let go. I will never let go until you say so. And I'll hide away, I'll hide away, I'll hide away from the sun. I'll hide away, I'll hide away, I'll hide away from the sun today. Eskimo kisses look straight in your eyes, just like you did when I was a child. And all my fears were all in place. I knew the sun would be shining when they took you away. I knew the sun would be shining when they took you away. And I'll hide away, I'll hide away, I'll hide away from the sun. Away from the sun today.
Video was well done. Very well done.
Thank you. Do you recognize that guy at the end, your neighbor?
Yeah, I did. You may want to turn that volume knob down just a little bit. I'm getting some feedback.
Yeah, we like to feedback here.
There, that's better.
Yeah, Paul actually did that video for me.
Paul?
Paul Bernard.
Oh, okay,
Barnard.
yeah, okay.
He's a local realtor and insurance salesman.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to do video for fun, and he does it all for, he does a lot of the videos you see on realtor sites with the drone flying around. So I contacted him about doing some aerial footage of the camp, and he did the whole video. So the next video has kind of I did the next video by myself. And when we get to that story, you're going to find it kind of interesting. But yeah, he did the whole thing with what are the GoPros attached to the drones, right?
Yeah, that's what all those drones have, some sort of a GoPro or something like it. Yeah. And
did you notice the sun flares, right?
Yeah.
So we were fighting the sun, and because the way his drone worked, it attaches to his phone. So the phone goes into this controller. And the Bluetooths weren't talking to each other. And do you think there's any internet service on Lake Seymour? Or at least this particular camp that's my uncle's. So we're trying to get the shots down before the sun goes down, but we wanted the sun to go down in the video because we wanted that overcast. So he finally gets it, flies it out, scatters a flock of seagulls, not the band. They weren't out there. There was a flock of seagulls on this floating raft. He dive bombed them. And I was kind of hoping he would have kept that. I never saw that footage, but I bet it's hilarious.
You should ask him if he's got it.
Yeah, I bet he does. So
who was the person that you had? I think it was on the shore, sort of spinning around with a blanket or something?
That's Danielle LaPlante.
I thought so.
Yeah. She danced. I did the song at the State House in Montpelier. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
That's kind of where that idea came from. Vicki Strong, Representative Strong. Sorry, Vicki. I have to be proper. She asked me to sing that song at the State House. So we went down to the State House, and I did that song for all the legislators at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And she did that kind of interpretive dance, I guess is what you call it.
Yep.
And I didn't want to do too much of it in the video, but I could just see in my mind that sun and that, I guess it's called a sun flare. and we only had one shot to get those right, and I think we were close.
Well, I thought it came out pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, on this particular song, how many tracks did you use?
There's 2 tracks on the acoustic guitar. There's a microphone very similar to this. It's not an AKG, but it's the same.
Right.
It's literally the same microphone, but the cheaper version. And then there's a condenser mic down by the sound hole. So that's 2 tracks, and that gets kind of like the finger squeak, and it also gets the fullness of the guitar. And then there's a piano track, and there is a cello in there, and a tambourine. Every once in a while you hear ch. And there is a little bit of a violin string in there, but it's mixed in with the cello. So that's 6 tracks. Then the vocals and the harmonies were 2. So 9 tracks, I guess.
Yeah.
For a piano and acoustic guitar. And Steve Bertrand mixed that. This was all done. It's kind of funny because it was released October 14th. The video was shot like a week and a half before that, and just rushed. It was all like I had it in my mind forever, just never had a chance to do it. And I recorded the song way back in April. The day the mix came back of the track, the final mix from Steve Bertrand, was on my mother's birthday.
Oh, wow.
It was really neat. So, but the video took, I didn't really plan on doing a video for it. But I had to, I felt like, for that song. Because, but I wanted to use old footage, old TV footage of my mom. Old home videos.
Right.
But they weren't kept well in the attic. And they were stuck and they ripped. And all the ones that survived the heat from the attic were Christmas videos. And it was literally, my father put a camera on a tripod and just wide angle shot the living room for 4 hours. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to, I wanted like maybe her teaching one of us kids how to ride a bike. So I had to settle for pictures. But I think the pictures are effective.
Well, it's, I thought the video was well done. I liked it. I didn't know you were going to put Danielle in the video, and I'm glad you did. I think it added a lot to it.
It was supposed to be significant of my mother being an angel now, and with the sun. And I don't know if we pulled it off, but
well, all I can say is I think you picked the right lady to portray it.
I think so too. I did it first, and then we said, man, maybe we should have her do it.
Yeah.
You couldn't see the sun behind me. Oh, that's funny.
Yes, we wanted an angel and not a dark star.
Yeah.
We didn't want. There is a rock band out there called Death Angel also.
Yeah, that's right.
And Morbid Angel. We didn't want that, so you picked Danielle because
Yeah. Well, she's actually a dancer too.
Yes.
Yeah. She, I believe, might have taught one of your granddaughters years ago. Lindsay?
No, she danced very, very little. I think she was only in it 1 or 2 years. She might have taught Danielle.
I think that could be it, actually.
Yeah, Danielle was a dancer right up even through college.
Yep.
And now
I think that could be
I have another granddaughter who's graduating this year, Abby.
And she danced too?
Is a dancer, yeah.
That's cool.
Abby's a very good dancer.
Yeah.
Hard to beat Danielle Cottonor, though. She was quite a dancer.
I want to say that there was one other too. She's not one of your granddaughters, but she's still doing dancing. Paul kid, Mario Paul's kid.
Oh yeah,
Abby.
No,
Abby Paul?
No,
No?
Kyla
Paul. Yeah, that's it.
Kyla Paul hasn't danced in years, but
she's teaching it or something though, because I saw her.
I think she's in New York.
Yeah, I saw her over the Thanksgiving break.
When Danielle was in 9th grade and Kyla was in 8th grade, they did a ballet duet that I have that was absolutely amazing. Those two did an incredible duet.
That's not easy stuff.
No, it was, and the two of them. I have to tell you, the two of them were angelic. That was one of the best ballet pieces I've ever seen. So,
I could see that.
So you've got one more video for us, don't you?
I do. So after,
Give us the background on this one.
Oh, this is awesome. So
you don't have to tell us all about the copyrights.
yeah, we already know about the copyrights.
We have a time limit here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, the song's only about 4 minutes. So because you have to have a video with everything, I was like, well, I got to do a video for What a Wonderful World. And I've played in every state in the in New England at least twice this year, including New York, which isn't technically New England. And my idea originally, everywhere I've gone, I've filmed a little bit of going into the city, a little bit of the show. And at the end of this year, I'm going to have a montage video that I put out on YouTube as a thank you to all the places. And I'm going to put one of my songs from the last album on it. So in doing that, I had a bunch of footage of just places. And I try not to use all of it, but I have some footage from New York City. I have some footage from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean in Maine. I have some footage from all the footage that you see of me playing. One is in Albany, New York. One is in like Portland, Maine. One is in Massachusetts. So we took a lot of this footage, and then I took a lot of this footage on my iPhone. And if you hold it, I want to just do a public service announcement for people that post videos on Facebook, by the way. When you make a phone call, this is absolutely the proper way to hold your phone. When you shoot a video, this is not the right way to shoot a video. Unless your TV looks like this, that's not proper. This is proper, not proper.
Yes.
Unless you hang your TVs on your wall long ways, then maybe it's proper.
There might be some people that actually do that, and I think I've been to their houses and I've never gone back again.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like whenever like WCAX will play, here's a video of the incident that we got from a person on their cell phone, and it's this way. And I realize they're not professional videographers, but if you're shooting a video of your kids blowing out the birthday candles, not only do you get more in the frame when you do this, it actually looks a lot better.
Yes.
So that in mind, this whole video was shot exactly like this. Mm-hmm. And some of it was shot, I don't even know if this is legal, but I'll talk about it. Driving along 5A by Lake Willoughby and just holding my hand out the window like this, just capturing the lake. But the entire video was shot on an iPhone and edited in iMovie. So essentially, absolutely a free program if you own a Mac, and I don't think you can download it for Windows. But essentially, if you have an iPhone and iMovie, you could make this video.
Well, you could convert whatever file. Is it MOV file?
It's MOV, yeah.
You could, if you converted it to MPEG-4 or something, you could probably do it in something else.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Yeah, what I did was I used AirDrop. The one thing I learned in doing that is if you text the video to somebody, it compresses the crap out of it and you lose the quality. But if you either save it to your computer, or Apple has a thing called AirDrop where it just connects over the Wi-Fi, if you AirDrop it, the quality stays amazing. So all of the footage, you'll probably recognize a lot of the footage. I tried to keep most of it from around here, but some of it's from different parts of New England. And then at the end of the year, I'll have a video of like every place that I've played, hopefully compressed into 3 minutes over one of the songs. But that's how this video was done. And then I did all the lip syncing on the bike path. So I had actually it was Danielle again holding her phone like this. And here's another videography. If you want to do professional movies on an iPhone, you want to tuck your elbows in at your side and hold your phone like this, so there's minimal bouncing. Because I don't own anything that's fancy enough to absorb shock. So she walked backwards like this down the bike path while I followed her and lip synced, playing the song on my iPhone to lip sync to, and stopping over and over as we met people walking their dogs and stuff, and waiting for them to get far enough down the bike path that they weren't in the shot anymore. And that is a very long, straight. I bet people were a mile down from us where I was still waiting for them to get out of the shot.
Yeah, there's not too many curves in that place.
No,
A couple of hollows, a couple of curves, and that's about it. Yeah.
I think my favorite part, though, was I really didn't think it was a cold day when I did it, and I didn't think there'd be anybody out on that bike path, and there were tons of people out there.
Yeah.
And one guy was riding a bike. Ready for this?
Yeah.
We're about a mile down the bike path, riding his bike. He goes, "Hey, dodge dart!" So, thank you, whoever that was. You made me feel famous for about 5 minutes. But this is the video, so it was all shot on an iPhone and edited in iMovie, and it might be the way to do it. I don't know.
Hard to say.
You tell me.
Okay, we'll run this one.
I see trees of green and red roses too. Well, I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed days and dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, and also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Well, they're really saying, I love you. And I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. Well, they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Well, they really say, I love you. And I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
It is kind of amazing how good a quality you can get out of those phones, you know?
Yeah. It only works outside, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, inside they don't work. But yeah, that's 100% iPhone and iMovie. It took me 8.5 hours to edit it.
Well, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. One time I remember I did a dance concert at the high school, and I used 3 cameras, and I did it all in post, and it took us 26 hours to do this hour-and-a-half concert. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it
takes quite a bit.
Yeah, and iMovie is limited as to what you can do. Like I had 2 times. For those of you that know about editing, you'll understand this. But I had the reason that I lip synced it all in one shot was so that I could just sync that once and then put the other things on top of it to overlay. And iMovie does not let you fade out or fade in when you do an overlay. So, in other words, what you kind of have to do, if you want to fade anything, you have to do it on the main timeline. And anything that's going to be an overlay, you don't have control. That's why they're all hard cuts, because I didn't want to sit there and try to line up my lip syncing every time.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the video doesn't fade in because I couldn't fade it in because it wouldn't let me.
No.
So it just starts. But hey, you know what? For an iPhone, I'm down.
So did you use the same number of tracks on this one as you did the other one?
I was thinking about that when we were playing it back. Yes, except there was a bass guitar in this one.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm trying to remember if I plugged my acoustic guitar in too. I think there's 2 more tracks because there's a bass guitar on this one, and I also plugged my acoustic guitar in and used a pickup and then blended it with the microphones. I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive.
So you probably use 11, 12 tracks on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're both just simple guitar and piano, but that goes to show you, to really get a good sound, you know, you can utilize as many tracks as possible.
Yeah. It still boggles my mind to think of what most bands are doing. Some of your more complex bands are using. I was speaking with emailing Simon Michael from the band Subway to Sally, and he says that they're doing like 200 tracks.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It's something like that. And Todd's point is absolutely true. The more tracks you use, the fuller the sound you get. However, I have to admit, the last Epica CD seems a bit crowded.
Yeah.
It seems to be a bit crowded. It's a beautiful sound, but it seems to be getting a little crowded with all the tracks they put on it.
That's the one thing that Aaron and I are going to try to do with my next album is
600 tracks?
Yes, 600. No, way less. I think we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible and as stripped down as possible. For that reason, because I think stuff is starting to sound super, super polished now. And these 2 songs are no exception. They're both, you know, professionally mixed in Los Angeles and by a top-notch guy that does, you know, most of the television shows that you're watching. Like, he's probably the guy that did the music for that. And it's super, super polished, but I think for an acoustic guitar and piano demo, you can get recording, you can get away with that. When you get into polishing a band up too much, it doesn't, I don't know, it sounds kind of plastic. You want a little bit of
Yeah, I noticed that, like I said, the Epica's newest CD, which I really like, it just tends to be crowded. They put so much into it, so many singers, so many piece orchestra, and the band, and on and on and on.
Each guitar is probably tracked 8 times.
Yeah, and after a while, it just sounded crowded. I mean, it sounded good, and you could hear everything, but it was almost like they didn't leave quite enough room for Simone Simon's voice.
Interesting.
It sounded just a bit. I wish they'd have pulled her voice up a little bit more, but
I find that in a lot of recordings. I wish the singer's voice was out front a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly if that many tracks, that's possible or not. But I'm not even sure. That's a realm that I can't even half comprehend.
Yeah,
but I'd like somebody to explain it to me.
I get flustered when I'm mixing more than 12 or 13 tracks. It's way too much for me. But these guys, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They make a lot of like different buses, but yes. I do need to do a couple shout outs for that video though.
Okay.
I need to do a shout out to the the Westfield Community Church for actually having "What a Wonderful World" written on their billboard the day that I happened to drive. Did you see that?
Yep, I did.
I was driving by filming all that stuff, and I drove by the church and I saw, no, there's no way that sign says "What a Wonderful World" on it. And I backed up and it did. So I just kind of drove by and got it. And the next day it was not there.
Huh.
So
imagine that.
Isn't that so? Thank you. And I guess that's the only shout out I really need to give.
And of course, you gave one out to Danielle for actually filming you.
Yeah, most of the video was I did, but I couldn't take the video of myself. Though I tried to use a selfie stick because I thought it would be really funny and have the selfie stick in front of me, and then I could just walk wherever. But it was way too bouncy.
I know. And some of these new cameras, like the cameras that we have here, they have digital image stabilizers.
Yeah.
And they do work to a degree. They do help.
It would have been interesting to. I wanted to. I really wanted to try doing it all with an iPhone, for a couple reasons. For those of you that don't know, you can use our equipment, but you can't make money off of it. Right?
Right.
And I fully intend to make money off of this. So I had to use resources that I had available. But that video wasn't even supposed to happen. It just worked out that well, that way.
Right.
That I had already had all the other footage on the iPhone. I said, well, I might as well just do it all that way. But it's interesting to know that. But I honestly, before I do the next album, I'm not going to do all the videos in an iPhone because it's a lot of work and it's a pain in the butt. And you don't have as much control. Yep. So I might have to be enlisting Terry Difazio to film some of those videos for me.
I don't trust him.
Nah.
He's mafia.
He's mafia. Maybe I'll have to steal his camera. Because you have essentially similar cameras to what we have here in the studio.
I have one similar to this. Personally, I don't like these new Canons. They're fantastic units, but I don't like touchscreens. And mine doesn't have touchscreen, and I just don't like doing it that way. But it'll shoot the same HD,
Yeah, and this isn't. I don't think this is true HD.
It looks pretty clear, though.
It's really clear, but there's a few tricks to it. If you zoom in, you lose quality.
Yeah, and
that's not something that happens with a real camera. With these, as soon as you do this to zoom in, you're degrading your quality. So if you want a close up of Terry, you've got to literally do that. You can't just zoom in because it gets pixelated because they're phones.
Right. Yeah. You can only compact components so much.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
But yeah, I'm very pleased with how it turned out for. But the outdoor lighting's definitely. I got inspired after this, and I decided that I was going to try to shoot another video inside to a song I have called Arizona, and no, you need natural sunlight to pull that off.
Yeah, even some of your better cameras have trouble in dark settings.
Sure.
It has to do with you need some cameras need a certain amount of lux, and if you don't have it, you get it's very very grainy.
But that's the story of my new 2-song album.
Well, that's good because we were supposed to incorporate that with another segment, and we don't have time for it.
Oh yeah, well, we don't, do we?
And that means that we're going to have to do another show and annoy you people even more.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I won't wear orange next time. I have this beautiful teal that I could wear, though.
It'll match this thing.
Yeah. I almost wore a green shirt. I didn't know that we were recording this.
I didn't either.
But it's perfect.
But like I said, Tracy's a taskmaster.
Our manager got on us about
yes.
that. The producer.
And I want to thank her very much for doing this and engineering
absolutely.
this shoot. It was very, very nice of her. She's doing a great job. And
by the way, I like what you've done with the place. It looks much different in here.
I just want to know something, Tracy. How'd you get them to build those columns so fast? They weren't here this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Magic? Okay.
They built those really fast.
Boy, I'm telling you.
There's still a gap in the desk, though. Maybe the carpenters can fix that next time.
Yeah, probably. Don't count on it, though. We want to thank you for watching the show. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or sometime along to, like I said, to annoy you even more.
I can't wait.
This is Terry Difazio with my partner in crime, Mr. Todd Pronto, the incredible Todd Pronto, with an incredible piece of music that you need to really, really check out. And
yeah, you can find it anywhere music is sold or not sold on the internet.
That's right. So, from Soundcheck, have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip side.